Hey everybody, welcome welcome back to my channel. My name is Leah Catherine, this is Leah Sees Movies, and we are back with the next episode of Young Justice. Last episode was a big one. We got kind of Vandal Savage origins, we got his entire backstory, legacy, we were introduced to some of his children, previous and current, and then previous again because he snapped her neck. We got, a little bit more training time with the new hires. New hires? Sure, why not? Let's go with that. The new teenagers they picked up at the mall. Halo is great. She has a new power. And I think we can all agree the most important storyline is that Jefferson went on a date with a war criminal, depending on your definition. Yeah, she felt bad about it, but she did participate in child trafficking. And we're just kind of moving past that. But anyway, I don't really know what this episode is going to be now. Now that we've kind of really raised the stakes, we have pretty much the fullest picture we've had thus far of what the Light is up to, what their end game is, current partnership with Darkseid leading into the eventual showdown with Darkseid for intergalactic supremacy. And yeah, that means that this episode could literally be anything to intergalactic warfare to just more training. Like at this point, the gamut is so wide for where every episode could potentially go. It's really hard for me to predict where it's going. So I'm going to just stop talking and watch. Let's get started.
You're late.
Barbara.
What happened?
Are we gonna get some details about her?
Mist, Livewire, and Shade made their move tonight on Star Labs Detroit.
They're probably after that giant slide.
Oh, I'm finding the darkness within.
Me in 2008. About to go to Hot Topic. I'm making jokes, but honestly, sick power. Love it. That's rude. He's like, what's his face from Static Shock? What if they meet up on this show? Oop.
We're out of time.
That scientist is serious.
Freeze! Do not move.
Cheshire?
You're my team. I watch your back.
I'm always shocked when I see blood. Like, y'all are serious. People are just getting shot. Oh, Silas. I know that name. And we haven't seen... Have we seen Cyborg? I don't remember. There's been a lot of new characters. I don't think so. Right? I don't think so. We got Silas. We got Mother Boxes. We got Darkseid. Cyborg's coming. Although, this could be one of those things of, like, they showed his name, but they didn't, like, talk to him, really. So it doesn't mean he's going to be a major player soon. It could just be for later.
I left Calder understaffed and Virgil in the lurch.
You did. Granted, your powers weren't really working.
No talk ever.
Sorry.
And this is exactly what I said last episode. They could have literally just opened with this without showing the whole date, because we didn't. Like, if it was like, oh, people will be surprised they're together, no, because you already kind of set it up.
And Bats, he's still playing CEO of Batman Inc. I'm better off freelancing with him.
I want to know why they got beef.
Where's Connor?
Mending fences with Megan.
Lynn and I had fence problems before the divorce.
Must we maintain the fence metaphor or
No, I'm with him on that one. I didn't come here for your relationship problems.
Who might have some intel on the League of Shadows.
meaning we'll finally find my sister?
Meaning we'll finally find the League of Shadows. Don't get excited.
That would be from my sister.
Leon's mother? That's great.
Our understanding is she's wounded. A cornered animal. That makes her dangerous.
However, if she was the head of the League of Shadows, I don't think she would just be like, out there doing regular missions and stuff.
But don't take it personally, Dr. Moon. I don't even trust myself.
Cheshire, we have company.
Keep them busy.
Interesting.
Time to go, Doctor.
She looks so scared to be there. She's like, ghost.
really don't want to do this.
Then why are you? Ooh. Good reflexes, Forager. Oh, not as good. She'll be fine.
Ow! That hurt!
I think... Remember I said there was someone else on the poster, and there was. And she does not seem to enjoy League of Shadowing, although her powers are very apropos. So is she gonna be recruited too?
Lightning's totally my thing.
You've never had black lightning before.
So, we're just done with phrasing, right? That's not a thing anymore?
Zeo Force, return him now.
You have to bring him back.
New color. Oh. She's burning him. Oh. And I was right about the rainbow of colors.
What happened?
Halo happened.
She's so cool.
I have 2 questions and 1 statement. Who is running the League of Shadows now? And from where?
Me, and from here, please.
I have no loyalty to the shadows, but I honestly don't know who's running them.
Yeah, it's kind of what I thought once I saw her on the mission.
How's Leon?
Why did you leave her?
You're her mother.
But I'll always be Cheshire first. Hug Leon for me.
I kind of love their relationship. Like, I love that they still care for each other. She's helping raise her niece. But they're definitely on opposite sides. There's never any, like, real temptation for either of them to switch sides. But they have a real understanding, and I like that. It's very well done.
You're late.
Batman.
Report.
Right. So
Haven't seen you in a
your
while.
orders. Clay backwash.
Gross. So you're thinking...
Yeah.
I mean, that is one way to check.
Did you know Tetch was really Clayface? Or just not care? Doesn't matter. We know where Tetch is, so forget Clayface. Let's go get him.
Spoiler? Does Batman only collect kids without powers?
And I tossed a liquid tracker on him.
Nice.
I was say, with all these meta kids running around, you think they'd find some other superpowered kids and not just more like Arrow kids, but feels like Batman probably has a type.
Too easy. Punch yourself. Hard! I had to protect you. From what?
That! I didn't do a very good job.
You. Time to go. Follow.
What's Tetch up to?
I'll find out. Arrowette, Orphan, run interference with Clayface. Spoiler, go after Hatter.
Why is her name Spoiler? Of all things. Don't we just kind of default to some kind of ice type situation with Clayface? Or heat? You dehydrate him? I like someone who's active with the sword though, so she has my vote.
Out of the building now!
There's a window behind you.
I
Okay.
lost Tetch and whoever he was running with.
Worry later, get out now!
Like, out of the building now. You know, status update. Not now. This isn't the time. Also, you know,
Hagen, the building's going to explode!
Must protect Hatter.
it's being controlled. Can't even protect himself.
He didn't make it.
I mean, you're assuming that.
I think he'll be fine. And really angry at Jervis Tetch.
Because that could presumably destroy maybe whatever's controlling him, but he said it was like nanotech inside his body. So if he completely disintegrated, that might have...
She's calling from halfway across the galaxy. Give her a minute.
Sorry I'm late. Had to
Okay.
bounce a signal.
It began several weeks ago. 2 meta prisoners were loaded on a transport to take them to a secured flight to Bel Red.
Okay, that guy, and I couldn't see the person's face. I'm assuming another person we've seen in the last few episodes.
Have I mentioned that I love this gig? Because I really love this gig. Kid, when you've been at this as long as I have, what you'll love is just getting through the day.
Oh, come on. We're putting bad guys where they belong. I mean, you can't tell me...
I was like, they break out of police transports like every 3 days. Why would you ever, ever, ever love that gig?
Yeah, I totally love this gig.
Oh. That makes more sense.
Oh, terrific.
I forgot Billy is an adult now. I was like, who is this adult man? Well, teenager. I didn't recognize him at first.
Kind of a rocky ride. Beggars can't be choosers.
Beggars can't be choosers. A+ casting, just for that.
Time is not on our side.
Neither are we.
Rocket, haven't seen you in a minute either, girl. How's it going? Can you maintain more than one bubble now? I'm sick of that one bubble nonsense, and she's all distracted the whole fight.
No.
I will say though, the whole league for one prison break seems like a bit much, especially when I know you guys are light on resources.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, yeah, they did.
But seriously, took the whole league and they lost 2 people?
For the last few weeks, we've managed to cripple the Branchwater chain of meta-human traffickers. Trace back to Stag Industries.
Why are you at the Justice League meeting? Didn't you leave?
Link 1, acquisition. Instead of creating new metahumans, as Bedlam did, Sportsmaster liberated existing metas. Clayface, Livewire, and Mist had all been taken while en route to Bel Ray.
Which explains why they were tracking the thingy, the transport.
Hatter inject its newly liberated convicts with nanotech that force them to follow Branchwater's commands.
And explains why Mist was like, I don't want to do this.
Utilization. Cheshire ran missions for Branchwater using the controlled metas for whatever Stag wanted or needed.
For starters, no one's being coerced anymore. I found one of Hatter's control devices before his place blew up.
And Mist and Livewire?
They are minors, not hardened criminals. We believe they are salvageable.
Mist seemed chill. Livewire, maybe a bit more.
Blue Beetle had previously translated the Reach text on the side of the machine, and all it says is metahuman failsafe.
And where's the Reach device currently?
En route back to Dr. Stone at Star Labs, Detroit. I'm sure he'll be able to figure out its true purpose safely.
And it's buzzing away, so probably not.
Acquisition. Shade. Sportsmaster liberated him, turning him over to Hatter for a nanotech control injection, so that he wound up as Cheshire's mind-controlled stooge.
Wait. So Shade was the bald guy? Or the long-haired guy? Also sick costume. I want that.
So this is a win?
Largely. What troubles you?
Why are there 3 distinct teams?
Taking a page from the Light's own playbook to fight fire with fire.
We're kind of the anti-Light.
And that's a good thing?
Okay, well, the villains picked a nice name. That's not our fault.
Worst case scenario, they need real deniability. Do you
Against
expect
what?
Superman to lie under oath.
Do you expect me to?
I mean, come on, Diana. I mean, does it really matter?
Diplomatic status to avoid taking the stand at all.
And the rest of you?
You're not wrong.
Are you all prepared to lie?
The justice system is flawed. You shouldn't lie under oath. Okay. Going too far in the other direction, probably. Ooh, end of the episode. Okay. Reset and Calder count to 0. Hell yeah. And rocket count. I still don't know if she can do multiple bubbles. They did not answer that question in this episode. I need to see it because it drove me crazy for like a season and a half. And now she's in the Justice League and she should have updated her tech at some point. So, yeah. I said in my intro, it's very hard to guess at this point what every episode is going to be because there's such a wide range of topics. And I was right to say that because I, not in a million years, would have been like, I think this episode is about to be about an entirely new trafficking ring where we find out that all of the separate groups are secretly working together but not telling the rest of the league and other heroic parties as it suits them. To like it, yeah, I would not have predicted this episode, so I'm glad I didn't even try. I really liked it actually. Like I kind of like big reveal episodes. It's kind of hampered by the fact that they're just telling the audience what's going on by way of telling Diana, but it was interesting enough that it didn't just feel like we're expositing the plot to you. There's a lot of details to catch up on, so this is probably the smoothest way to get that information across without spending like 3 episodes introducing Backwater, Blackwater, Blackrock, whatever. I immediately forgot. It's probably not relevant. I know that Dr. Silas Stone has been introduced, so I will be keeping my eyes open for Cyborg and whatever this anti-meta failsafe is. I just feel like when you give Silas Stone big metal robotic things, I'm gonna have some concerns. We'll see how that plays out. Black Lightning considered going back to the League, didn't because of his various concerns about the politics of it, which is fair. Also, beef with Batman, which I still want more information about. So it seems like he's going to be pretty seriously sticking with the Nightwing team. I think Mist is going to be our last final member. Because I was saying there was someone else on the poster that I couldn't remember last episode that hadn't been introduced yet. So if I'm remembering the poster now, I feel like that fits her look. I think it was someone in like a white costume, which makes sense for the person who turns into Shadow, and she super did not seem down to fight. Because even if Livewire was being mind controlled, at least she seemed genuine in the fact of like, oh, you're Black Lightning, whatever. Like she still had fun fighting, even if it was under, you know, not really her own control. She was having a good time doing it. Whereas poor Miss was just like, sorry. Strangling someone to death and apologizing all the while. She seems like a nice girl. I think we're gonna adopt her with, you know, the rest of the strays. Halo got another power, so I think we only have one left, depending. Yeah, indigo, violet, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So yeah, I feel like it depends how serious they are about differentiating between blue, indigo, and violet, because we have her healing represented as violet, and then we have her big light power, which I'm not really sure what the details of that power is, just like making a bright light. It is very Cloak and Dagger, which I enjoy, like having these like perfect opposites, like a really dark shadow power versus like solidified weaponized light. So that is fun. Also, they should bring back Cloak and Dagger. Disney Plus, Bob Chapek, someone, season 3. It was a good show. It deserved more attention than I got. Really mad I got canceled. Not related to the subject, but just my thoughts. Is it bad that I'm kind of laughing at the idea of Connor and McGann having relationship problems? Like, I realize it's just overwhelmingly negative of me, but I'm just like, I laughed when they broke up the first time, and now they're happy together, and now they have issues again. So now I'm like, I'll win again. So aside from being obviously a kind of a recap episode, and an introductory episode to this other branch of metahuman trafficking and the concept of the anti-light, which I'm sure we'll find a better name for, you know, our heroes working together below the radar to keep their enemies of the dark about stuff. There's kind of this moral question now being raised by Diana of, well, that's not who we're supposed to be. We're the Justice League. We're supposed to be an open and transparent body of justice. We should be someone that people know what we're up to. We're accountable for our actions. Everyone knows what we're doing and how we're doing it. And I mean, it's an interesting concept. I think it's kind of the difference between like before we get into the realistic, the realities of the situation, but the idea of what should be, you know, a trusted public police force versus like the CIA. And it's like, you know, depending who you ask, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree anyways, like, oh, well, you need the CIA. You need the people who are doing the down and dirty shit that no one knows about to keep, you know, keep the homeland safe or whatever. The B613s of the world. But it's also like, oh, I should be able to know if there are, you know, complaints being filed against a cop in my neighborhood for brutality, or like, I should know what they're up to. Everyone's, you know, body cam should be on. So the idea now that is being raised is really interesting of like, well, now we have our Justice League acting more like the CIA. We have them doing things underground, even, you know, giving information on that CEO or whatever. It's like, I anonymously am submitting it. It's not like any formal arrest is happening. It's just like, all right, we've collected all the evidence and now we're just emailing it to someone underground and kind of stepping away from our own connection to it. And does that erode the public trust in the Justice League? Should it erode the public trust in the Justice League? And should the Justice League themselves should that erode their own faith in themselves? Like, are they abandoning their central mission for the greater good? I mean, obviously Batman's cool with it, but is that not kind of a problem? When Batman is spearheading the new moral direction of the League, questions maybe should be asked, and of course Diana is going to be the one who asks those questions. I really love the line about, do you think Superman is going to lie under oath? Which is just, of course he's not. Of course he's not. It's such a great line. And, you know, Diana's saying, oh, well, do you think I would? And I'm like, I feel like she would. You know what I mean? Like, I guess maybe this Diana wouldn't, but Batman, you know, suggested just using her diplomatic immunity to not answer, but I don't know, I feel like Diana's a pretty, I guess depending on which version of her and which comic series and which kind of moral basis you're going off of, but I feel like she's a pretty, like, warrior thought process of, like, sometimes things need to be done a certain way, and sometimes it's gonna be a little grimy, so I feel like, yes, she would lie, but I mean, like, legally, I don't think they're doing anything that would be of a real concern. They just don't want the bad guys to know that they are more unified than they appear to be. And we even saw that last episode when the world, I hate that it's called that. When the war world was being utilized against that attacking army by Vandal Savage, when Vandal calls Lex, he's like, hey, there's this army coming, can we call the League? And it's like, ah, man, they're understaffed, they're struggling, it's like an understaffed McDonald's over there, it's crazy, like, they can't even handle a threat of this nature, no one's working together, who knows where Batman is, and he even said, maybe we did our job too well. So right now, the bad guys, the light, they're all patting their own backs and tooting their own horns. So the plan is working. It's a good plan. And so, like, does it matter if, like, I mean, I guess it does matter because it's like the UN thinks the League is mostly ineffective, but the reason the UN has to think that is because the UN is being led by Lex Luthor, who's a member of the bad guys, but the other members of the UN don't know that. So at this point, subterfuge is kind of your only option. So I feel like this episode is, like, definitely framed. You're supposed to kind of be with Diana of, like, this is a real thinking moment. But for me, I was just like, nah, Batman's right on this one. I'm not always going to say that, but on this one, I think it's a pretty, like, what's the alternative? There's no alternative where they're not undermined at every single level, because even with what they're presenting to the world as the Justice League, it can't do much. It's having its powers continuously stripped. So I don't know. I think we just gotta roll with what we got. We gotta work in the dark a little bit. Justice League Dark. Now available on HBO Max. Or was available on HBO Max. Who knows if it still is? They might delete it tomorrow. Thanks, Zaslav. Alright, I think that is all I have for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, comment, etc. All those things that make me very, very happy. If you don't want to do any of that, but you watched all the way to the end of this video, thank you. I still really, really appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter at Leah Sees Movies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace!